It was a hot summer morning at the 1988 Olympic Stadium in Seoul, South Korea, and all eyes were on the running track. This was the women's 100 meters, the fastest race in the Olympics, and whoever won the gold medal would officially become the fastest woman in the world. Florence Griffith Joyner jogged up to her slot in lane number 3. She was decked out in her team's uniform, along with glittering bracelets, long, flowing hair, bright red lipstick, and 6-inch long fingernails, painted red, white, blue, and gold. Nobody had ever seen an athlete look this glamorous at the Olympics. They'd always appear stern and neutral, but not Flo Jo. She believed that fashion fueled her, and she was determined to win this race with style. Flo Jo crouched down into her starting position. Her feet found the block behind her, and she tucked her chin to her chest. She could feel her muscles strong and taut, prepared to do what they did best. Flo Jo was just like a firecracker, lit and ready to explode. I'm Jordan Chiles, and this is Goodnight Stories for Rebel Girls, a fairy tale podcast about the real-life rebel women who inspire us. On this episode, Florence Griffith Joyner, one of the fastest female runners of all time. Florence Griffith was born in Los Angeles, California, the 7th of 11 children. The Griffith household was very hectic, but they loved each other dearly and were very close. Florence was always full of energy and exciting new ideas, especially when it came to sports and fashion. She loved sewing her own clothes for her Barbie dolls and constantly tried on her mother's dresses. She did handstand competitions with her siblings and neighbors and rode to the store on a unicycle. When she played ball with her brothers in the street, Florence was fast and fierce. If she lost or got knocked down, she bounced right back up, eager to prove herself. She also dressed up for their games, wearing her good clothes and combing her hair. She didn't need to look scrappy to feel just as strong. Florence's competitive spirit led her to join the Sugar Ray Robinson Youth Foundation, where she could try out all kinds of sports: basketball, volleyball, football, and track. She liked all the sports well enough, but it was running that really ignited a flame inside her. And she was good at it. Soon, she was running track at school, thrilled to be a part of the team. Her teachers and classmates were amazed by her speed and the bright smile that always erupted when she crossed the finish line. But there was one thing that Florence couldn't stand. She hated their uniforms. She didn't understand why they had to wear such silly, drab outfits. Florence convinced her relay teammates to pair long tights with their track uniforms. She was sure it would help fuel their fires too. As Florence liked to say, dress good to look good to feel good, and feel good to run fast. Whether it was her outfits, her determination, her muscle power, or a combination of all three, Florence was soon setting school records in the long jump and sprints. And that was just the beginning. Sprinting and striding may have given Florence a great sense of freedom and power, but her life outside of running was challenging. Track and field wasn't a popular sport at the time, and resources to finance athletes' careers, especially female athletes, were still not available. Florence started college at California State University at Northridge, but soon had to drop out to work and help support her family. It took a while, but with the help of her coach, she was able to get financial aid to study at UCLA. It was here that she hoped to get professional training and guidance. But when she wasn't at the track or going to classes, Florence still had to get a job to make ends meet. This meant long nights working as a beautician, braiding hair, and doing nails. It was exhausting. When Florence was 20 years old, she was selected to go to the American Olympic trials. It was thrilling, but nerve-wracking. Florence had never competed at this level before. She gave it her all, but still placed fourth. There was little time to be disappointed, though. Florence was soon head over heels in love. At those same Olympic trials, the famous triple jumper Joyner saw Florence sprint. He was speechless. He had never seen a woman so fast or so beautiful. Al waited for her to finish running and then introduced himself. She was impressed with how respectful and polite he was. An established athlete himself, Al offered to coach Florence on her path to the Olympics. She was delighted to say yes and went back to UCLA smitten. For the next few years, they trained and competed as their friendship blossomed into romance. Florence graduated from UCLA with a degree in psychology and soon after won her first silver medal at the Olympics. And in 1987, when Florence and Al got married, she officially became Florence Griffith Joyner. Or, as she liked to be called, Flo Jo. As she trained for the greatest competition of her life, Flo Jo's routine became even more intense. She began every day with 90 minutes of weightlifting, then sprinted home to cook her special shrimp creole for dinner, rushed back out for some braiding jobs, and came back home for some painting or writing before her last workout of the day. Either another run or just a set of curls on the hamstring machine that sat in the Joyner kitchen. She was improving in both the 100 and 200 meter races, her muscles propelling her around the track faster and faster. And her clothes were getting better too. At the U.S. Olympic trials in Indianapolis on July 16, 1988, Flo Jo donned a purple one-legger speed suit with a turquoise patterned bikini bottom. In the quarterfinal round of the 100 meters, she demolished the competition and set a new world record of 10.49 seconds. No one can run that fast. The heat must be doing something to the electronics, the ABC announcer said skeptically. But Flo Jo could not be held back by the doubters. People were clearly stunned by her speed and strength and looking for ways to prove she was cheating or wrong. Flo Jo stayed calm. She knew she'd won fair and square. And just as her mother had taught her to do, Flo Jo treated everyone with kindness, even those who didn't believe in her. She focused all her energy into having fun and pursuing her goals. And in 1988, that goal was to take the Seoul Olympics by storm. And that brings us back to the hot summer morning at the Olympic Stadium. Crouched on the starting line, Flo Jo took a deep breath and tucked her head down, feeling the fire inside her start to burn brighter and brighter. Ready, set, go. All 8 runners threw themselves off the starting blocks, their bodies flying over the track. Flo Jo quickly pulled ahead of the group, the crowd shouting and cheering her on. Halfway through the race, Flo Jo switched gears and accelerated so fast that everybody else lagged 5 meters behind her. She was leaving them in the dust. Realizing her huge lead, Flo Jo threw her arms up well before crossing the finish line, a dazzling smile spreading across her face. She knew nobody could catch her. The gold medal was hers. After that historic win, Flo Jo went on to win 2 more gold medals at the Seoul Olympics, one for the 200 meters and one for the 4x100 relay. Then, at the last minute, she was asked to run in the 4x400 relay, hoping to bring home a 4th gold medal. She and her team ran hard and won the silver. Sure, it wasn't the gold, but her split was the fastest in U.S. history at the time. She treasured that silver medal, maybe even more than the golds, because it symbolized the trust that her country put in her, and she loved being a part of a powerful team. Flo Jo announced her retirement just 5 months after those record-breaking Olympic runs. She felt like she couldn't maintain this level of fitness as well as traveling and starting a family. Plus, she wanted to pursue other careers and continue to build her legacy off the track. She designed 2 fashion lines in Japan, and fans recognized her on the street calling, "Joyner-san!" Next, she was asked to design uniforms for the American basketball team, the Pacers. Designing for big basketball-playing men stretched her creativity. How could she make their clothes unique without her favorite pinks or lace? In the end, she designed many different possibilities, and the team picked one with big yellow and white rays down the side. Her creativity led her to all kinds of exciting pursuits. She wrote children's books, made guest appearances on TV sitcoms, and signed contracts with Coca-Cola and Mitsubishi Motors. She was named co-chairwoman of the President's Council on Physical Fitness and Sports, and worked with inner-city children through her Flo Jo International Foundation. She even had a Flo Jo Barbie doll, complete with its own one-legger sweet suit. Flo Jo loved traveling the world and sharing her different passions. She looked forward to cultivating the next great record setters and never tired of being the best-dressed person in the room. Tragically, Flo Jo died very young of an unexpected illness. Yet, she remains a role model for so many young athletes, hoping to follow in her lightning-fast footsteps. Her speed and grace, along with her still unbeaten record, inspire people all over the globe. And when we talk about all that she accomplished, being the fastest, the strongest, the most fashionable, that's only part of the story. Flo Jo's spectacular smile and indomitable spirit are beyond compare. The way she faced criticism and doubt, the way she took care of her family, her body, and her soul, these are what make her a true rebel. As Flo Jo used to say, I believe in the impossible because no one else does. This podcast is a production of Rebel Girls. It's based on the book series Good Night Stories for Rebel Girls. This episode was narrated by me, Jordan Chiles. It was produced and directed by Haley Dapkus, with sound design and mixing by Mumble Media. The story was written by Elena Favilli and edited by Abby Sher. Fact-checking by Joe Rhatigan. The executive producers were Jess Wolfe and Joy Smith. Original theme music was composed and performed by Elettra Bargiacchi. A special thanks to the whole Rebel Girls team who make this podcast possible. Until next time, stay rebel.